and we'll start talking, and then they'll say clear, and then we'll take these things off, and we're good to go. So if you're ready, I am.
Hey,
you all set?
fire away.
All right. Whenever we can just start. We don't have to do the countdown or anything like that. Okay. We are, welcome to the Hornet Spotlight for the month of April. And for the month of April, we are here with the 161st member of the Alumni Hall of Fame, selected by the Renaissance Committee. And we are also, this person is unique because he has become the youngest person that we have ever inducted. He is from the class of 1998, Zach Fallowfield. And the committee, some of you ask me once in a while, how does someone get involved and how does someone become an alumnus of the month? And just as a review, we take names from anyone and any place. If you tell us that there's someone that you think should be considered for the Hall of Fame, our committee will be glad to take that name and your information and include them on our ballot. But it is a year-round process, and we're always looking for new candidates. But we've got a great one here today in Zach. He meets the criteria. First year, we were talking before we went on air, Zach is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is in his first year of eligibility, as we have a 12-year, you must be out of high school for 12 years to be considered, and Zach is just finishing his 12th year out. So it is a pleasure, and congratulations, Zach.
Thanks, Mr. Clevenger.
And thanks for taking time out of work to come in and talk with us today. Zach Fallowfield, as I mentioned, is our 161st member. He's our youngest member. He is the first member of his class, obviously, but he is not the first Fallowfield. I can't recall the year, but I remember one year we had Janice and George in here as they were kind of a husband and wife team, and we took 2 months with one family. So we're adding to the legacy today. So while he may be the youngest, he's not the only. So we'll just start out, since Fallowfield is a name that is obviously well known in Beech Grove, definitely in Beech Grove schools. Tell us a little bit about your immediate family and what they're doing and how things are going from the family side of things.
Sure. Yeah, my immediate family, actually, I'd married another alumnus of Beech Grove, Pam Agee, who's another family member of Beech Grove, long-standing. And my dad, actually, Brian Fallowfield, went to Beech Grove High School, and his parents, Janice and George, who you mentioned, graduated, I believe, in 1955. My grandpa, unfortunately, my grandmother passed away. Janice passed away a few years ago, but my grandpa still to this day has lunch and dinner with his classmates from Beech Grove, the class of '55. It's pretty amazing. He still lives at Beech Grove on Southern Avenue, and my mom and dad still live in Beech Grove. So really very strong ties still to the community. My wife, Pam, and I actually live on the south side of town, just outside of Beech Grove. We're close enough to pop in all the time, but not within the city limits anymore. But yeah.
And I met a couple other Fallowfields when Pam came in.
For sure.
You better talk about them.
Yeah. Who are them? Yeah, my my two daughters. I have two daughters, two young, beautiful daughters. My oldest daughter will be 6 in June 22nd, and her name's Ella. And my youngest daughter, Lucy, just turned 3 in April. So it's the 4 of us, me and 3 girls at home. So it's been great. My oldest daughter, Ella, started playing t-ball. So I'm coaching, Pam and I coaching t-ball, softball, our second year doing that. So it's pretty cool.
Okay, 1998, you're one of the few people I've had in here for an interview that I don't have to talk about how things have changed since you left, because the building hasn't changed. Everything is pretty much what it was when you left. So let's talk about what you remember from high school, some of the things that you recall, some of your memories about Beech Grove in the late 90s when you were here.
Yeah, it's funny walking in. Occasionally I'll come back to the building. Ella went through a softball clinic, I guess, put on by Brad Johnson, the softball coach. So I was in the building about a month ago, walking around back there in the auxiliary area. Nothing's really changed. Still have batting cages up in the ceiling, and stuff still looks the same. When I came in today, it's amazing how everything, it looks a little bit different, but fundamentally everything's still the same. Still some of the same paint, some of the same stuff on the walls. Pretty neat. Yeah, I spent a lot of my time in this building between sports and late night stuff here, games. We'd have. So very familiar with the area. The thing that especially when it starts to get a little bit warmer like this after it's been cold. I mean, the first thing that always comes to my mind now is it's baseball season. I'm guessing kids are playing baseball. So, yeah, when I look back at my time that I spent here, sports were a huge part of my life. Probably if you ask my teachers, probably more, priority-wise, I was probably more focused on playing sports and than actually worrying about my grades, which I smartened up when I got a little bit older. But that's some of the first stuff I think about is Friday night football games and some basketball stuff. There too. I played football all 4 years, and basketball all 4 years, and baseball all 4 years here. I just had a lot of really great memories. So, yeah, I occasionally I'll see a teacher, out at a ball game, or I'll see him walking through Walmart or something. It's just pretty. It's interesting to see some of the teachers now, and even yourself don't really look that much different at all. So,
well, you don't either, actually.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You mentioned sports being a big part, and again, you're one of the few alumni that I've had here that I remember. But you were playing every Friday night through football season and through basketball season, and baseball. It was Saturday doubleheaders. So sports obviously were a big part of what you did, and sports took you to the next level of education. And tell us about where when you left Beech Grove, you went to a new environment, but sports were still a big part of that decision too, I'm sure.
They were a big part. Like I was explaining, I think my priorities at the time when I was in high school, it was definitely sports came first, and I tried to do enough academically to make sure I stayed in good standing. But I was fortunate enough to be able to, I got accepted at Hanover College, Southern Indiana, Hanover, Indiana, near Madison, Indiana. And sports were a big part of that decision. I wanted to go somewhere where, I could play both football and baseball and still get a good education. I wasn't ready to give up either one of those sports. Since I'm not 6'10" or anything and don't run a 4.040, I went somewhere where I could, get in and actually play a little bit. So that was a big part of it, and I was really fortunate to be able to go to Hanover because it actually academically was a really great school. So I played football and baseball at Hanover. I played football for all 4 years, and baseball I played all the way through my junior year, and by the time I was a senior there, my life started changing a little bit. Priorities changed, and I'll speak to that in a second. But when I started, it was, football kind of obviously kicks off the school year and kind of started everything. And I still remember going through the first sets of training and training camp and 2-a-days, 3-days, I guess that is what we had at Hanover. Comparing the preparation and all the extra stuff we did at that next level, very different than what I experienced when I was at high school. Even at a small college like Hanover, which is a Division III school, you really had to focus in on one, either a defensive position, offensive position. You really had to pick, and that had to be it. At Beech Grove, the team was small enough where I could, I kind of played both sides, never got to come off the field, which was great. That's what I really liked, and so that was a big difference, really having to focus in and do something specifically, and then compete with a lot of other really good, talented people. So it was challenging. The sports were challenging. The school, the grade academically was really challenging too. after I got through my first year, I would have, and then I started second guessing my priority decisions that I made when I was in high school. I was like, man, maybe if I studied a little bit harder in, Mr. Melbert's calculus class, this would have been a little bit easier. But I learned that along the way, and the sports really helped me stay focused on it, because when you're playing sports, you don't have a lot of free time. There's a lot of practicing, a lot of weightlifting, and you're traveling for the games, and it's taking you out of the classroom quite a bit. And the requirement for staying in the school or staying in the athletic program is getting good grades. So, that having that constraint on my free time really helped, keep me honest and focused. But I started off my freshman year actually thinking I didn't really know what I wanted to do academically when I went, and I started off taking biology classes, some chemistry classes, some math classes, just general requirement type of thing. And it was somewhere, maybe my sophomore year at Hanover, when I decided to major in chemistry. And so I was taking a lot of laboratory classes, and those are extra from your lectures and everything. Mm-hmm. It was really busy. It was tough to do labs and write reports and then still get out for baseball practice. It was really challenging. So through my junior year, in between my junior and senior year of college, I got an internship at a company called Roche, which is where I work today. And when I came back for my senior year, I just felt like I needed that extra time to really focus on academics more. So I decided to just stick with football, and I let baseball go, thinking that, well, if when I'm 60 or 70, maybe I can still play some softball or something, but I don't think I'll ever be able to pad up and play football again. So.
All right. And you made the comment you had to play one side at Hanover. Did you play offense or defense?
I started off playing defense, which was my when I was at Beech Grove, I played quarterback and middle linebacker or free safety. Were my two things. And Hanover was blessed with several really tall, gunslinging quarterbacks when I got there. And I was told, well, if you want to play, your best bet to play immediately would be to play defense. And so I said, okay, that's fine. I'll start playing defense. And I didn't really know any better. And so I played cornerback, defensive back, for the first 2 years. And it just wasn't really working for me. I missed being able to catch the ball, run with the ball, throw the ball. So in my junior year, I actually moved over to the offensive side of the ball, played receiver and stuff like that.
So you got to play both sides anyway.
I did.
Just a
just
little
not
different
at the same
sequence,
time.
yeah.
That's right.
And now you ended up with a chemistry major.
I did.
And your intern thing at Roche kind of, you said, led to your job that you have now.
Yeah.
What are so you've been at Roche for what?
Oh, so I graduated in 2002 from Hanover, and I've been there ever since. So was that almost
10 years.
Almost 10 years, yeah.
And tell us a little bit about your job responsibilities, how that has evolved while you've been there.
Sure. My internship was, I was really very fortunate to get involved with this company, Roche, who I'd never heard of. And they're just up on the northeast side of town. The company used to be called Behringer Mannheim. So if you've been up that side of town, you would know it as that name. And I had never heard of it. And I'd actually applied for an internship at Eli Lilly at the same time. I thought I had a really good in. I was kind of told, hey, we're going to get you landed here. So that's great. Growing up on the south side of town, that's all you've heard about is Eli Lilly, and that fell through. So I was pretty bummed about that. And somebody had mentioned, well, have you ever considered Roche? And I don't even know what Roche is. So I checked the company out, and I filled out an application, and I had taken, by that time when I was a junior, I had taken several classes that would be valuable for a lab to take me in for the summer and help do some of their grunt work in the laboratory. So I got selected out of a pool of just random candidates. Nobody really knew me there. And I started off in a chemistry lab, analyzing samples, running instruments, analyzing data, writing reports, doing some just basic chemistry type jobs. And it was really great. It really, being able to see what I'd learned applied in a real life setting really helped make the school a lot more real. But I felt like when I was at Hanover taking the classes, I really never, you do some labs, you do some things that were trying to be real life simulations, but until I saw it in a real life, I saw people actually having a career at this. When I saw that, I was like, hey, I think I could do this. I felt like I contributed when I was an intern, and I felt like I could do this. So that experience was great, and it was at the time that Roche was doing pretty well, and I was sitting at Hanover, I think, probably around this time in 2002, thinking that I was going to go back to Roche and work in their kind of junior bringing you up kind of program. They've got a program there where they evaluate you as a temporary employee and maybe convert you. So I had planned on doing that, and I ended up getting a phone call during the afternoon, probably in between classes or something, and I answered it, and it was my boss, who I just got done interning for, and she said that, well, we have an opening, full-time opening, and if you want it, it's yours. I was like, yeah, sure, so I'll take that. I didn't really look anywhere else. Yeah. I liked it, and I've been there ever since. So the first job that I had was in a research and development lab, helping develop our next generation products that we make. And I did that for about 5 years, 4.5, 5 years, in a development capacity, and then I moved into the operations and quality side of the business about in 2007, and I've been in that organization ever since. So I helped develop some of the products, and then when I was in operations, now I was responsible for helping troubleshoot issues during manufacturing and resolving some things, and so it's been really fun. And now I've for the last I guess 3.5 years, I've been supervising various labs. In 2009, I started supervising a couple of quality control labs. And then actually just in February, I moved over into a different part of the organization, still in quality, supervising another group of people. It's not really laboratory related, but it's more investigation related, investigating products when they come back from our customers. Mm-hmm. So it's been a really great experience. It kind of moved me around, and it helps keep things relatively fresh. So,
okay, again, you're a pretty young guy, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
You're less than 10 years into your career, and we mentioned earlier you've been out of high school for 12 years,
yeah.
and we've talked a little bit about what you're doing and what you have done. 12 years from now,
yeah.
Won't be T-ball softball, it'll be high school softball at that point, but
yeah.
what do you see Zach Fallowfield doing, and what kinds of things do you think have paid off for you as you've gone through your career and maybe looking back a little bit? I guess
yeah.
what I'm saying is, how are you going to use what you know now for the future?
Yeah, I mean, I've found that I like my job. I like the company that I'm working for. I mean, in 12 years from now, I still see, all things, going well. I'd like to still be with Roche. It's a global company, so it allows me to move around, if I wanted to. Have no real intentions of moving anywhere else, but those options are there. By that time, my oldest daughter will be 18 years old and probably thinking about college. So I'll be, sweating and really worried, I'm guessing, about that. Hopefully we'll have another 1, maybe 2 kids. I don't know how, what it'll end up being, but the Beech Grove experience, from South Grove to the middle school to high school really helped, shape, in my opinion, who I am, my values that I've got, my family having been from here, still here, really, I think says a lot. So I still, 12 years from now, I'm sure my parents will still be, living in Beech Grove, and hopefully my grandpa will still be living on Southern Avenue, and I'll still be visiting, them in the community, and hopefully seeing some more success as well from the Beech Grove Hornets. Doing pretty well.
Yeah, they are. Well, again, we have been with Zach Fallowfield, from the class of 1998, and he is now a member of the Beech Grove Alumni Hall of Fame, and we're very happy to have had him. And Zach, in recognition of today, I'd like to present you with this small token of our appreciation.
Thank you very much.
And again, thank you for coming in today, taking time out of your busy day. It was just a real neat experience to talk with Zach, and he mentioned Pam, but Pam, of course, works in the school corporation, and Pam has always been one of my favorites, but she's even more of my favorite because she put the case in for me this time. I think it's the first time in however many cases I've done that I didn't do it myself, and I got to watch her do it, and that was a lot of fun. So I appreciate that, Pam. But again, we thank you for watching, and we'll be back one more time. We'll end the school year up with one more alumnus. Actually, just to give you a little hint, it's from the same era as Zach here. Not quite as young as Zach, but not missing it by a whole lot. And it's someone that I think you'll look forward to hearing from. So again, congratulations to Zach Fallowfield, and thank you for watching this edition of the Hornet Spotlight.